So, Tyler, do you remember a few weeks back when I said that we had a really annoying number?
59?
Yes, for ratings and reviews.
Yes.
Yes. So, I went on Twitter and made a plea to get a few more ratings because the OCD was killing me. So, our number is up to 67. We didn't get all written reviews. Some of them were just like, like things. But I wanted to let people know what they were because we haven't read reviews in a long time.
I don't think we've maybe ever read reviews except for like the first 2 or 3 that we ever got.
We did.
Yeah.
But anyway, so BamaFan0803 said, Tyler and Shay are awesome hosts and obviously have great chemistry with fun banter back and forth. Love the show. We have chemistry. Yeah.
We do. I would hope so. We're married. Also, I'm not... You say that it's not Krista, but I'm not entirely unconvinced that it's Krista with an alternate
So you
profile.
think only one person in Alabama can listen to us, apparently. That's
No,
just
I'm saying that Krista is a diehard and we love her, and she would do anything, including walking through fire for us, and that does not discourage her from committing basically fraud to have multiple different reviews.
So what he's saying is, Krista, if it's not you, you're welcome to make a dummy account to leave us another review because he would be delighted, is what he's saying. Okay, so Schmitty052 says, I always love a good movie podcast. So what are you going to tell me? This is like Schmidt from New Girl, like showing up? Like what?
No, it's just, a Bama fan is definitely Krista. I'm convinced.
Okay. Delvin123 said, only listened to a couple episodes, but I really like it a lot. It's very entertaining. Thank you for listening to any episodes, really.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, we're desperate for people to listen to us talk back and forth. Full stop.
Just was basically because we need to be able to talk back and forth. So
that's basically it.
Yeah. So this is another podcast. I wish I had pulled up the person's actual name because Apple doesn't tell you their whole name, but it says ODPH. I know it's a podcast. I just don't remember the full name. Sorry about that. But anyways, it says, take a listen. Solid content each episode. The hosts keep you engaged from start to finish with great banter and fandom of the movies. Take a listen and find out what you've been missing. I love when people say stuff like that.
It's great.
Because at the beginning, when we started out, people were like criticizing us for not being like diehards. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh yeah, we were getting murdered for not doing enough research. And admittedly, we were new and we didn't do a lot of research. And I kind of winged it a lot.
You still kind of do.
Oh yeah, no, I totally...
But I do enough research to keep you grounded.
Yeah, you're by far the grounding influence on this podcast.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
anyway, so if you guys haven't left us a review yet, please do that. It helps Apple know that we're worth listening to and promotes us to other people. So we really appreciate it. Plus, we just love hearing from you guys and knowing that there's people out there that actually listen. That's still baffling to me. So
yeah, it's a nice kind of confirmation that we're not just shouting into the void.
Right. I mean, we'd still do it. We still would.
Oh, absolutely. We just would be the crazy
others.
People out there shouting into nothing.
Right. Exactly. So anyway, thank you a lot. So we're moving on to the movie. This week's movie
is My Best Friend's Wedding, which was my choice. Mm-hmm. I've never seen it before. You'd seen it, so it was a nice change of pace. Normally, I'm the one that's seen the movie.
Right. But last week we did a movie that you'd seen that I hadn't seen, so we flip-flopped.
So, yeah, this week was
My Best
Friend's Wedding, my choice. I'm Tyler.
I'm Shay.
And this is Cinematically Correct. And before we get to the movie, you bought me another beer because you love me.
And that's what we do.
I'm actually not entirely sure that you love me given the choice of beer. It's Hoponius Union, Jack's Abbey Lager, or IPL. So it's an India Pale Lager, I guess. Jack's Abbey is out of Framingham, Mass.
Yes, it is.
I do like a lot of their stuff, but I don't know how I'm going to feel in this.
So get to it. Come on. Stop procrastinating.
I'm going to give it a provisional 2.5. I'm not at all looking forward to this.
I mean, last week you thought you were going to hate it, and then you liked it. So,
All right.
Here's to hoping.
Oh, that's really not good.
No? Not good?
No, it tastes like a Christmas tree.
It smells not great.
It smells like a Christmas tree. It's
just not great.
Oh.
But in fairness, Jack's Abbey is actually really good.
Thoroughly recommend any of their other beers that I've ever tried, I think, across the board. Are you ripping apart your notebook that smells like banana?
It's broken. But anyway, irrelevant. It doesn't need to be on the podcast. But, so do you stick with your original
rating? I'll give
rating?
it a 2.75. So it's a little bit better, but it's not great.
It's not great.
No.
Okay, well, I'll try better for next time. Okay?
All right, here's hoping.
Here's to hoping. Anyway, so did you want to give them a brief synopsis for anybody who's lived under a rock and hasn't seen this movie?
And it's been out for 23 years, so get on that.
Who are you speaking to, mister, that hadn't seen it before this?
Yes, I have not seen it until now. Brief synopsis.
Brief synopsis.
It's about Julia Roberts and Dermot Mulroney that were in a relationship in college, decided to become friends, and they've been best friends for something like 10
years.
10 years
or 9
so.
years, I think.
Whatever it is. Quite a long time. So friends for a long, long time. And they have an on-again, off-again kind of floating in and out of each other's orbits. They've kind of drifted apart, but they're always swinging back in. And it centers around Dermot Mulroney's character telling Julia Roberts that he's getting married, and her realizing that she's in love with him and trying to break up the wedding.
That was quite a long-winded, brief synopsis.
It was the longest brief synopsis I've ever done, or done in quite a long time.
Yeah. Wow. That was a struggle. I'm glad we got through this.
Thank you.
You feeling okay?
I'm trying.
Okay, well done.
It's
anyway.
admittedly late at night, so.
It's 9:25, old man.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I just wanted to let everybody know what you thought late at night was.
Well, now that you're calling me out for saying it's late at night at 9:30, let's move on to the IMDb
Because clearly you need to get to bed?
Well, I've been at work all day, so cut me a little bit of slack, please.
Tiny violin?
Thank you. That's nice.
You're welcome. Anyway, okay, so the cast. We are going to be really talking about their characters in depth pretty much in this podcast because that really is a central part of
that's
this movie.
The only part of this movie that we can really talk about.
Right.
For anything more than 5 minutes, honestly.
Right. So for this, I just kind of want to talk about who the actors are, and then we'll talk about their characters when we get to that part.
Right.
But so Julia Roberts is, Julia Roberts. Like, do you guys need an introduction to her? Pretty Woman. She's in everything.
She's in Ocean's 11 as a minor character.
That's not even a movie I would really put on her list, but yeah, she is.
Pizza.
That's one of your faves that I have not seen. Erin Brockovich.
Thank you. Quite a few movies. Like, it's Julia Roberts. How do you not... If you don't know who Julia Roberts is, you have failed at life.
Right. So get on that and watch a Julia Roberts movie. There's Dermot Mulroney. He plays Michael O'Neill. I know I've seen him in a lot of movies, but I, off the top of my head, don't recognize him really well. Do you know him from anything?
Well, the only thing that I really have seen him in was he's in New Girl that you made me watch as
Yes,
Jess's
I did
boyfriend.
make you watch. Yeah. He's also in Shameless.
Yeah.
Which is ending after season 11.
So he's almost always the supporting character. He's never really the lead actor, I feel.
He is in this.
Well,
so this is the exception,
he's still
not the rule.
He's the supporting actor because it's really Julia Roberts' movie.
I guess. Sure.
She had so much cachet at this point that she handpicked him for this movie along with Cameron Diaz. So, this was Julia Roberts' world back in the 90s. We were all just living in it.
I don't hate that.
So,
there was Cameron Diaz.
Yes.
We've already done another Cameron Diaz movie. We did The Holiday.
Yes, we did.
She's in also a ton of things. So if you don't know who Cameron Diaz is, I don't know why you're watching a movie podcast or listening to a movie podcast.
Right, yeah. That's just a fail of, again, she's Cameron Diaz. She's been in so many movies, it doesn't even merit counting.
Yes. So, okay. But anyway, we have done another one. So if you want to listen to us talk about her in another movie, The Holiday, I think we did it last year.
Yes, last year,
Christmas time. So, yeah, you can find that. Then there's Rupert Everett, who plays George. I don't think I'd seen him in anything prior to this, but I am so happy I've seen him.
He was the best character in this entire movie. He was the most enjoyable part of this movie. Across the board. Just fantastic.
For sure. The rest of the characters are pretty minor. There's people from The Good Wife, there's people from different things, but of course I have to do this because y'all are gonna hate it, so gotta do it.
Here we go.
What? Okay. I can't help it.
The
seamstress in this movie is Gypsy from Gilmore Girls. And I told y'all if I could find a way to connect the movie to Gilmore Girls, I was gonna do it. And I did it. I didn't even have to look it up. I knew. I was like, that's Gypsy. Didn't I? Huh?
You did, and I am sorry. I had no way of knowing. Everyone that is listening gets my condolences. I am terribly sorry that I subjected you to that. again.
Gilmore Girls connects to everything.
No, it doesn't. I'm going to find a movie it doesn't. I will do it.
Yeah, okay. Well, anyways, really proud of that. Really happy about that. Go Gypsy. Go Gypsy. Anyway.
You done now?
I'm done. I feel better. It's out of my system. So, yeah.
All right, so where do we want to go from here? We've done the characters. We've done the basics.
So, I mean, do we want to just get down to business? I mean, there's obviously one thing the internet really wants to talk about, and I feel like we just need to talk about it. We just need to air it out.
The fact that Julia Roberts is clearly
the villain in my own story. Had to do it.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, yes. So a lot of people think that it is entirely Julia Roberts' fault through this entire movie.
A lot of people. That's like the
common opinion. That's the consensus.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like even the way it was written was supposed to make you feel that way as well, that she was the sole problem. But, so you're a guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start with your perspective. When you watched this movie, did you find her to be the issue of the movie?
Well, yes. So she definitely is not a good person for the majority of this movie in terms of she's actively trying to sabotage a wedding for her own personal gain, which I can understand. I can understand if you feel like you're missing out on being with your soulmate. You just have to do something, otherwise it's going to tear you apart. But at the same time, it's not a good thing. You're not doing good things or anything that anyone else is not going to judge and rip you apart for. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it's this whole movie. It's a back and forth. It's not. It takes two to tango, as they say. It's not her in an unrequited. She's misreading things, or she is just projecting her own feelings. He's very much leading her on, I feel, for this movie. How do you feel about that?
Well, you know how I feel. You literally took my thoughts and made them your own again.
No, that's not fair. I have the same thoughts. We have the same opinion. It's not my fault that you let me go first.
Uh-huh. Well, anyway, so, I mean, I saw you guys were tweeting at me when we announced that we were doing this movie, that Julia Roberts was the villain, she was the devil, she was whatever, and, you know, so I will say that there are parts of the movie that they're unredeemable for her. I mean, right. the email that she wrote, now granted, rookie move, she should have just made it a draft and not put the to address so that it could never be sent, because we all do that. We all do things where we type up something or we write up something that we're never actually going to give to anybody, but we need to get our emotions out. Absolutely. That's fine. You can totally do that.
I know for 100% certainty, if I put the email address that I'm sending it to in, it's going to send half finished, because I'm actually going to accidentally hit enter. It's going to be gone.
Oh, yeah. I put my email address in at the end when I'm sure I want to send it, because I know that so many things can happen.
Yes.
So, rookie move on her part, but I mean, it was the 90s, so I mean, let's cut her some slack.
Email was new?
Yeah, I mean, looking at the computers that she was on, emails were new. But anyway, so things like that are not redeemable. But then there's other moments where he absolutely pushed it forward. I mean, can we talk about the fact that when she pretended to be married to George, he said he was jealous? You don't get to be jealous. You don't. Like, that is not okay. You are getting married. You don't get to say that. You don't get to feel that. Like, no.
If you're getting married, the only way you can be jealous is if it's regarding your future wife or future spouse. Like, that's really only your standing, the place you can stand.
Right. And if you are feeling jealous, you shut your mouth. Like, you just...
Or maybe you're not ready to get married to that person. Or maybe you are having cold feet or something going on. But no.
Yeah. And I mean, so she was bombarded with also people telling her how she's Michael's Julianne over and over again. It was like she was kind of getting it from all sides, where it was just kind of like, yes, I'm meant to be here. Like, this is where I'm meant to be. And he knew, and he was playing up to it. He enjoyed it. And then there was the part on the boat where it was their last time to be alone together, as he said, which is highly inappropriate. Like, I mean...
Or the whole talking to her while she's in her hotel room changing. Like...
Oh, I forgot about that part. Yeah.
Like...
So she covered herself, and he was like, I've seen you more naked than that. And she said,
not
it's
really the
different
point.
now.
Yeah.
Like, she had to tell you that? Like, I mean... And he still stood there.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't even like he was like, oh, yeah, right. And, like, covered his
eyes. I
would
fully expect to be lit on fire if I was involved in that
If I walked up behind you, walking in on a girl, and you were like, I've seen her naked before, I'd be like, I do not care.
You're getting stabbed. I'm getting stabbed. I'm getting...
Yeah, that's just not...
murdered.
I mean, I think maybe what they were going for with that was, like, the sisterly vibe, but still, like, I don't want my brother looking at me like that night either. You know what I mean?
It's just, it's creepy all the way around. Like, you're getting married. No.
Right.
Have some boundaries.
It's just wrong. And, and it's wrong to also bring up that they've slept together before. Like, that you're asking to bring up feelings is what you're doing.
Yeah.
But then there's the part on the boat. And so this actually kind of came back to me after thinking about it. And I'm not really sure if this is what he meant. But so there's a part in the boat where he's talking about Kimmy. And he says, one of the things she always says is that if you love someone, you say it and you say it out loud. Or the moment passes you by. So... I feel like that was him basically saying to her, say it to me now. Like, tell me now that you love me. Like, basically speak now or forever hold your peace type situation.
Well, right. It's giving her an out, and he could have said it too. I mean, it was just that moment where they both are kind of on the verge of saying it.
Well, so the way I read it was that for him, he's getting married. For him to say it is really not good unless she already wants to say it.
Right.
So I think he was kind of giving her that opening of like, okay, we're alone. This is your last chance. I've told you this is the last time we're going to be alone. Like, say it now.
Testing the waters to try to see what her reaction is going to be. And then she's killing herself, not saying it, but she didn't say it.
Right. And I mean, in her defense, I don't think they were having the perfect moment. They were dancing to their song, which highly inappropriate. They were just having their moment, and I don't think she wanted to complicate it with that. She wanted to just enjoy her best friend, and I think that's hard. But that moment tells me that there was more on his side than he was.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, even in the final scene right before the wedding, when she kisses him, he kisses her back. He doesn't immediately go, whoa, 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 whoa.
Well, so they never answered that. George was like, did he kiss you back? Was there tongue? And there was never an answer there. And I was actually curious what the answer was.
Well, there was an implied answer because she's like, we're not talking about that. Because obviously that's what happened.
Oh, see, I read her answer as no. He wasn't kissing her back.
I wrote it as that's why she's driving after him. Because otherwise her heart is crushed and she just has to come to terms with it.
Yeah, but when you're so far in love like that, you don't think about that kind of thing. Like that's like, it's a detail. He wasn't kissing me back he was in front of people and he was caught off guard and like whatever. Like there's going to be, you'll make every excuse in the book to keep fighting until someone tells you no.
I mean, I just read it as she has that last little bit of hope and she's trying to salvage the last moment, the Hail Mary shot that she has. And didn't work.
That's fair. So before we move on, I do want to talk about a few of the other characters and like their arcs, but I do want to talk about the ending. Okay, right. So I don't really see anybody talking about this online, and I've looked to see what people's opinions are, but I don't see it. But so the end of the movie, Kimmy gets married to Michael.
Yep.
And it kind of ends with her, dancing with George or whatever. But right before they leave to go on their honeymoon or whatever, he comes back and he hugs her, kind of making it clear that like they're still going to be best friends. Like that's not changing. They're still very much in each other's life, and the way it's felt to me is there's still also very much feelings there. Like that's.
Well, I mean the fact that Cameron Diaz lets that happen on the day of the wedding, given all of the history of what happened that day. I mean, he's lucky he's not getting stabbed or murdered on the honeymoon.
Well, we'll talk about how delightful Cameron Diaz is and her character problems in a minute, but, I mean, is that a happy ending when that can only... I mean, I guess it could be a good thing. I guess maybe they both came to terms with the fact that they don't have feelings for each other, or they do have feelings for each other, but they're going to put them aside, but none of that felt resolved to me.
It was very unresolved because it was just... They're friends, but they're still going to be in each other's lives, and it's not going to be the same, but it's going to be something new. And is it friends or is it mistress or what?
I feel like that needed to be resolved before the wedding. Like I felt like that conversation needed to happen because that's that's a hard way to go into a wedding, is having that there.
Oh, yeah. That's a huge weight around everyone in the wedding party. And when she was in the wedding party, but very much almost ruined that wedding.
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, I know that the happy ending was supposed to be they got married and that it wasn't the typical rom-com where the villain wins kind of situation.
Well, there was supposed to be an alternate ending at the very ending. So the very ending where she's sitting alone, miserable at the table, reception, dinner, after they'd already left, George comes up, and George is her gay editor, who's also one of her best friends. And he's the best character in this entire movie, by far. Mm-hmm. And he's trying to make her feel better by saying, well, you still have me. Yes, you can't fall in love with me. Yes, we're not going to get married. Yes, we're not going to...
There won't be a wedding. There won't be sex. But by God, there'll be dancing.
Exactly. So that was not the intended ending. So I think what they were originally going for with the actual ending was to have her meet the next guy or her actual soulmate at the wedding. But people demanded more George because...
And I am glad they did.
By George, they made the right choice.
They did. I mean, so, like, I don't think she was even ready to meet a guy yet. I mean, honestly, I don't think he was ready to get married either. So, you know, do with that what you will. But I also don't think she was ready to meet a guy. I mean, she was still trying to grapple with her feelings, and I think having her best friend was the best thing that could happen to her, is knowing that she had someone stable and consistent that was not going to be complicated to fall back on.
Also, I think it helps audiences to feel like she's miserable because they really didn't like her in this movie.
Yeah, but I mean, guys, you know what? Be a human. Realize that we all do stupid things for love, and this one just happened to be really dumb and caught on camera. Like, I mean, we've all done it. If you say you haven't done something stupid for love, you're lying.
Yeah.
Okay? You're lying.
Exactly.
So, yes, she was a bad person. They exaggerated it for the film. But we've all done something of that stature, right? I mean, come on.
We've all done something stupid.
Oh, absolutely. I've done quite a few stupid things. I'd like to name them, but I won't. Yeah. So
we'll be here all day if we both go into it. It's going to be a problem for both of us.
Oh, I've got some for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So the only other character that we haven't really discussed is Cameron Diaz. And can I just say that she is way more trusting than anyone ever?
Oh, yeah. Well, so, I mean, was she trusting or was she keeping her enemies closer?
Well, at the end of the movie, she's like, you're the only person that I trust. And I'm just sitting there going, what movie are you in? Like, what, I'm being gaslit? What's going on? Like, first off, you trap her in the elevator, say, I'm on to you at the beginning of the movie. And then you're like, you're the only one I can trust. Where did that come from?
Well, I mean, so, I mean, she was young.
Yeah.
And I think she was a little bit naive. And I think she was also hoping that... She was kind of like hoping blind faith that it wasn't going to be that. Because she wanted to like her. And she wanted to like her husband's best friend. Like, I mean, I feel like that's commendable that she wanted that.
I mean, she's a salt-of-the-earth billionaire. Like,
yes, the daughter of the owner of the Chicago White Sox.
White Sox.
Yeah. So, yes. I mean, it's just... And you can't help but feel for her. I mean, they put her in that karaoke situation where she's sang terribly and people cheered for her. But
I can instantly empathize with her for that because I will never do karaoke ever, and no one wants me to because that's just a crime against sound.
So I mean, let's be honest here.
So I was just miserable. I was nauseous and upset for her. Like, it was just a third-party cringe moment.
Yeah, I mean, but her character is really hard to not feel for. But there were some flaws with her character, and you kind of wanted to talk about those.
Oh, she's an insane driver. Like, the car driving scene, I mean, not to say anything negative about Cameron Diaz, but she does seem like that type of driver. Just, like, I can envision her actually driving that way in real life. But it did make the end final car chase unrealistic because ain't nobody catching her. Like, nobody getting close.
I couldn't find where I wrote it, but I wrote something down going, if I can't drive with you, gosh can tell me I cannot drive with Cameron Diaz.
Well, I wrote down, she got in the car, you'll never catch her. In my notes, it's like, she's gone.
Yeah, no, it's impossible. I mean, that woman drives like a crazy person. Like,
she changed lanes across 4 lanes of traffic with no blinker.
Yeah, no, I was getting agitated just watching it.
It was brutal. And, like, you hate driving full stop with anyone. And just no.
Yeah, no, that's no. But there were other things that you were talking about the fact that she was willing to drop out of school. She was willing to change careers. Like, she was basically willing to be a trophy wife for this guy.
She was willing to be a trophy wife in the fact that they had money because her father was wealthy, and she was going to change her entire existence for one guy.
Right, and she was going to... I mean, I was going to say allow him to stay in the job he's in, which is not fair because obviously he can do what he wants to do. But she was doing that knowing that it was going to alter her life because he has to travel a lot. And for her to be with him, she needs to travel and do all of that. And it wasn't what she wanted. It wasn't her life that she wanted to. And it's commendable that you want to do that for the person you love. But at the same time, like, you also need your own life. You also need to be your own person. And it was kind of sad to be like, in one of the moments she said, like, you need to believe me or I will just die. And it was like, oh gosh, like, that's...
Well, I wrote down that's needy as hell. Like, that's just desperate and sad, where you can't instantly resort to the I'm gonna die if you're not with me.
I think it was more of the Southern Belle, I will just die. Like,
no,
I do declare.
It was the innocent, I have nothing without you kind of.
Yeah, and I mean, that's sweet. You know, I mean, we're jaded. We're old and jaded and whatever, but that's sweet.
I think it had more to do with the fact that she hadn't been in a real relationship before, and that's just everyone in high school is like, just can't get over their ex ever, and the world is ending and life has no meaning and all of that. So you've
never felt that way? The world is ending and life has no meaning?
Oh, I have, but I got over it.
Well, that's because you're old, okay? She's not old yet, so let it be. But I do think that it was kind of sad to see that, and I wish that, you know, for a happy ending to have happened, that they kind of resolved that a little bit, where she got to, like, live her life and be her own person. But it seems like that wasn't what was going to happen. She was just going to sit in the back seat and let him do what he wanted to do, which is depressing.
Yeah.
So you're going to let your husband do whatever he wants and have the best friend that he kissed at your wedding.
The day of your wedding, at your parents' house, and you still are going to let him have her in your life together?
If that doesn't harbor resentment, I do not know what does. I mean,
you're a better person than I am. I mean,
way stronger than I.
Or just stupid, because you're asking for her to be the mistress. Like, you're just saying, yeah,
you're basically saying it's okay. You're basically giving permission at that point.
Exactly. You are saying without saying, I'm okay with this.
Yeah. So I mean, it is what it is. But I had more of a problem with that than some of the things Julia Roberts did. Not all, but some.
Interesting tie into our Los Angeles trip.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So the celebrity that we did see flying to Hollywood was Lil Dicky.
They know. We sang it last
sang
podcast a few times.
Well, I did that intentionally. But regardless, he has another song called Molly, I believe, that you watched and you made me watch. And it just is this movie in song form. So
what you're saying is I should tweet this podcast at Lil Dicky and be like, this is your Molly song, but in a movie? That's what you're saying?
Like, this is the Molly song, but in movie form with Julia Roberts. And it was crushing. Yeah, it was brutal.
It's rough. So if you guys want to watch a song that's going to make you cry your eyes out, the video and everything is just, it's crushing. And Lil Dicky is really good about, like, the lyrics that just hit you, like, just...
That's one of the things that he does very well. And it's so hard to find these days where he actually has meaningful lyrics.
Yeah. So we're sorry that 2 podcasts in a row we brought that up, but here we are.
But at the same time, I'm not sorry at all.
No, not sorry at all. Sorry. I did want to bring up one thing that we kind of glossed over a little bit, but the marriage pact.
Yes.
So one of the beginning parts of the movie, she's telling George that they had a marriage pact where if they didn't get married by 28, that they would marry each other.
Right.
And they ended up talking about it over the phone. And of course, you know, she says, "Oh, I don't think you remember that night." And he says, "Oh, I think about that night all the time." Still a problem. Still a problem.
Leading her on again. That's another example of him being the driving force behind this developing feeling.
Right. But anyway, basically he ends up saying, "But that's not why I called. I am actually getting married." And you had a issue with the marriage pact.
Oh yeah, well, because they're clearly already over 28 in this movie. I mean,
I'm sorry, how old was Julia Roberts?
29.
Woo, man, they really stretched it out. You're right. Oh, man.
But
God.
they were supposed to be
Those
like...
directors.
And Dermot Mulroney was, I believe, 33 or so for this movie, 33, 34, somewhere in there. It just... They are all... You're not even who you are as a person almost at 28. Like, that's still... You're building out your identity. I mean, it used to be when you're 18, you became an adult and moved out in the world, but that has changed over time, and it's getting later.
I forgot. You're so adorable. You used to live at your parents' house at 28, didn't you?
I did not live at my parents' house at 28, smart ass.
Had you just moved out? Yes.
Go to hell.
So cute.
But no, it is a trend across the board that people are finding out who they are later and later in life, and getting married later, buying a house later, all of that, and they're just coming into their own.
I guess I am just not familiar with that, so I'm just sorry.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. But have you ever had a marriage pact?
I have not, no.
No?
I did not.
I thought everybody did that. That's like a thing you do.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone I know had a marriage pact at least with somebody.
No, not a thing. I'd never seen this movie, darling.
No, it wasn't about that.
Oh, well,
I just know that, like, I mean, all of my friends had at least one best friend that they had a marriage pact with, that for us it was 40, but, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't have a whole lot of female friends growing up.
Oh, well, I had quite a few, so, but anyways, but yeah, I mean.
You had quite a few female friends? That's a different kind of marriage that just was legalized recently, darling.
No, I didn't have any female friends, actually. But, yes, I mean, I think that maybe it's more common when girls have guy best friends that the marriage pact happens. Because, probably. I mean, yeah, I definitely did. I had my marriage pact in 40. And I wasn't 40 before I got married, so it didn't come into effect.
Yeah, no, I jumped the gun on that one.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll kill you.
Sorry to whoever that person is, fictionally, but I'm not really sorry, because I got dibs.
Aw, that's kind of cute. But anyway, so do you have a history minute for this movie? Because I can't even imagine how we would do it, but go for it. Stretch it out.
It's going to be a really brutal, not really related history minute.
Tyler's History Minute.
So, the first thing this movie centers around is Chicago and the Chicago White Sox.
Yes, because Kimmy's father is the owner of Chicago White Sox. So let's just make sure we get that clear.
So the White Sox were founded in 1894, and they were originally called the Chicago White Stockings.
Why? Do you guys call I thought stockings were like...
Well, stockings used to be the
old
former socks in the 1800s, and it was abbreviated down to Sox, S-O-X, which used to be the correct spelling.
And now it's not.
So that's where that comes from. Same for the Red Sox for Boston, but in Chicago.
I got that part.
Yeah.
Thank you for trying to connect that.
The only other thing, Chicago its claim to fame is it's a shipping and transportation hub for the country. Mm-hmm. So they ran all the rail lines there for the grain and wheat and agricultural produce from the Midwest. Mm-hmm. Tons of slaughterhouses were thrown up in Chicago, where millions of cows and pigs and all kinds of livestock were slaughtered on a regular basis.
Oh, that's happy. Thank you for that.
In 1871, it had the Great Chicago Fire, which burned down basically the entire city. And in 1894, there was the Chicago World's Fair, which there's a great book out called The Devil in the White City, which we've both read.
Yes, fantastic book.
Thoroughly enjoyable. And it's all about the real-life story about one of the first serial killers in the United States building a murder hotel to kill people that came to Chicago to go to the World's Fair.
Which apparently is supposed to be a movie starring Leonardo DiCaprio.
And as soon as I see a date on it, it's going to be on the list.
Yeah,
I'm dying to see that movie.
Leonardo DiCaprio is...
It's Martin Scorsese,
and
Leo DiCaprio. It's going to be a fantastic.
Yeah, so you heard it here first. It will be on this podcast if we have to go opening day. I don't even care, and I don't go to opening day movies, but I will do it. So
yeah, wherever, whenever I will see this movie.
Yes,
by God.
So Anyway.
So that's really all I got for the History Minute.
Yeah, I mean, rom-coms are hard to come up with history minutes, but,
bit.
you know the guys that history movies are only coming back, so enjoy your short minutes now because they're going to be
an
back to
entire
half-hour
30-minute podcast.
Yeah. So, anyway, we still have to do audience asks.
Audience asks.
Now, y'all, spent a lot of time telling me how much you hated Julia Roberts. So, I got it. Message received.
We talked about that already, and you're wrong, because he's equally responsible. Right. So, check yourselves.
So, this one we kind of discussed, but not entirely. So, You Have No Idea, it is the name of the person, said, I would like to know if you think the film is aware Julianne is the villain of the story, and if it's important for the lead of a rom-com to be someone you root for.
So, I think they are aware that she is the villain because
they don't give her a happy ending.
They don't give her a happy ending. I do think the lead in a rom-com doesn't necessarily have to be a good person, but that is the trope, that is the standard that has been done over and over again. It's kind of a nice change of pace where the main character is a flawed person, and I think that gives the character more depth than just everything is wonderful, I'm a great person. That's not reality. That's not any actual person. So even a wonderful, saintly person is going to have some skeletons in the closet. That's just what happens.
Right. And we can all try to pretend like we're these wonderful people and that we, disavow all the horrible things she did. But, let's be honest. Everybody rooted for her the first time you watched this movie, at least a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit you were, rooting for him. And if you say you weren't, okay, you woke. I get it.
You're lying.
We all did.
There are two types of people in this world. People that say they rooted for Julia Roberts or say that they didn't root for Julia Roberts, and liars.
Yeah, basically. Guys, you did. We can look back on it, or even during the movie and be like, okay, girl, you went too far. But you rooted for her. She was Julia Roberts, and especially in that time period, she was Julia Roberts. She was a sweetheart of movies.
She was
you rooted for her.
The actress of the 90s.
Right.
So without even a comparison, she's the actress of the 90s. It's not even close.
Right. So was it important that we were not supposed to root for her? I guess not, because we did anyway. Yeah. So, that's all I'm saying.
What else you got?
Let's see. We kind of talked about that. Oh, Real Feels podcast. Would you ever wear the Lobster Cops costumes from the movie to a party or for fun? And then, what is a song that you and your friends' family would break into to rally everyone together?
I have no reason to wear the lobster costume. I also have no reason not to.
The lobster costumes make me think of the Amanda Show from the 90s. Do you remember that? Amanda Please. Yes. That's what I think of with the lobster costume. So in that case, yes, I would, just to have a throwback to the Amanda Show. So yes, I would.
And what song would your family listen to
rally together?
And
probably Pray For You, since we did this past Christmas. My cousin was going through some stuff, and we decided to rally together and all sing Pray For You, and we did a great job.
She'd actually never heard of it either, so it was kind of a weird thing. The songs that my family know that could all just join in and sing are probably anything by Sam Cooke or classic, older music, because that's all that my family listens to, really.
Yeah, so I'm talking about a song about knocking people over the head with a flower pot, and you're talking about, really nice, classical music.
Shout, you make me want to shout.
It's so funny.
Or Chain Gang, or there's a few, but it's
y'all are adorable.
Yeah,
very innocent. It's really cute.
Well, thank you.
But hey, at least we have things that we can all come together with and rally together, because that's what's important, is having each other's back. So, anyway, I think that was actually a fun kind of question.
All right, on to reviews then.
Reviews.
Sure, let's go on to reviews.
So this is an odd circumstance where the review by the critics and the review by audience is the same. So it's 73-73.
Yeah, so does that mean that it gets a solid C? Is that
I think it's a consistent C. Like, yeah.
The universe is basically saying this movie is a C.
It's consistency for a C.
You had to do that.
I did, yeah.
Dad jokes.
For days.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't even think that's terribly out of line. I mean, there's no real substance to this plot. It's just, it's a
feel good fun movie.
It's a quick, short movie, but there's not a happy ending. There's no feel good moment at the end. So 7.5. Like it's.
I mean, you're a man, so I mean.
It's okay, but there's nothing crazy great about it.
George is crazy great.
Well, yeah, George gives it the 7.5 on his own. Otherwise, it's a 2. I mean,
come on. Julia Roberts is wonderful too.
Julia Roberts is also wonderful, but she's not a likable person in this movie. But she is not the only one to blame. So, yeah, 7.5.
I was gonna give it 8.5. First of all, George. I mean, we need to see more movies with George in it. So if you guys have recommendations for movies with him in it, I'm down because I love him. He's just everything. His voice is everything. He's everything.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Then also, I mean, I relate to this movie a lot. Like, I mean, I'm the girl with the guy best friends, so I very much relate to this movie. And while she's a not likable character, there are still things in that I can relate to and feel and whatever. So I always like movies that I can kind of see my own life in a little bit. So, you know, but of course, at the end of the day, did want happy ending. It is happy that she has George because he's George. But if it was any other person, I don't think you would feel any kind of like happiness for her. You just would kind of be sad and destitute.
You'd have gone to this movie and seen this movie and just like left unfulfilled with the ending, unless without George. Like,
without George, yeah. But so anyway, and I also really just don't like that they leave Kimmy unresolved as a person. She's gonna become her man's like side thing or something. Like she's gonna be the backdoor person. Like I don't even know. She's not the person he's been in love with for 9 years. She's changing her job. She's
becoming the person that she thinks he wants.
Yeah, and that's never.
That never works out.
Yeah, so that's really why I would probably go for full 10 because I like this kind of movie, but I can't with that whole thing. It's just, you know. So anyway, we are doing our last rom-com for February.
Yes. So it's She's All That.
Yes, it is a audience recommend, and I will give you the name of that podcast at the beginning of the next podcast because I didn't pull it out. So, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, She's All That. It's a 90s movie. If you haven't seen it, Freddie Prinze Jr., I mean, y'all have seen it. I mean, it's been parodied in like Scream. It was parodied in a bunch of things.
It's parodied by Not Another Teen Movie. She's got paint on her overalls. She's got glasses.
Right. I mean, it's kind of an iconic movie, so we have to cover it since we haven't done it. And then we're moving into like other regular movies. Yeah. Huh. So
brace yourselves.
Brace yourself. History is probably coming.
Yeah, war movies. I got a lot of them. So
joy. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. Anyway, so I think that's all I have. Do you have anything else you want to add?
Well, no. Thank you for listening. Find us on Twitter. I'm BlameTylerCC.
Yep, and I'm Cinematically C. I am the one who posts all of the audience asks. So if you haven't got a chance to ask a question and you want to, go ahead and do that. Shoot it to me. I usually post them on Saturdays-ish, somewhere around there. Yeah, somewhere around there. We have email, cinematicallycorrect@gmail.com. Facebook and Instagram, we're barely on, so find me on Twitter. Better option.
Twitter's the way to go.
Yeah.
And find her, not me, because...
Yeah, I will tag him if there's something you want to say to him. That's your best option. Best way to go. But that's it. So thank you to Jake at Athis Music for our intro and outro music, and we will be back next week with She's All That.
Thank you for listening.